KKK. Young nigga, I got old cash, spazzing on they ass. I got Prada on my whole ass. Got my lab one mad, pop a nigga like a damn tag. Shopping on they ass, I just bought a new old Jag. Yeah, it's so fast, smoking flockers, you a jackass. All I smoke is gas, don't you ask me where the pole at, where your clothes at. I ain't talking about my niggas, damn, but y'all tripping too, is it you? Damn my nigga, what the hell got into you? Project baby, y'all was skipping in the hallway, I was skipping school. On my P's and Q's, on them chiggers, call me Chiggaboo. Bleeding concrete, bet you niggas won't come cross the street. Pardon me, I don't talk to you, so don't you talk to me. I ain't dissing on nobody beat, I'm vibing on the beat. Honestly, I'm just trying to be, I just gotta be, trying to get over on anything. They telling lies to me. I spent 5 on my pink ring. She love my diamond ring. Anyway, I'm married to the game. She said her vows to me. I ain't getting on my knees, babe. You bow down to me. You go down for me. You lay down and do the time for me. Sorry, boo. Yeah, I lie to you, but don't you lie to me. It's Lil Kodak, the finesse kid. Boy, who hide is me? Told the doctor I'm a healthy kid. I smoke broccoli. I will run around your whole boy like Monopoly. Oh boy, you's a broke boy. Flockers got you beat. Chocolate, call me Reese's. Can't catch me without the piece. Say la vie, I'm 10 toes down. You falling off your feet. I will trick your ass, full retreat. Call it Halloween. Yeah, that money is what I play for. Call it lottery. Goddamn, you's a clown to me. You's a clown to me. You can't smoke no black or mild with me. Get in the car with me. You a funny guy. Don't you even joke around with me. How could it be different round the G? You brown different me. I'm a free bad junkie. You a junkie. Getting skin, I'm getting junkie. Getting money. Want some food? Boy, you hungry. I want them honey. Honey.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing on this beautiful Saturday night? Today is February 26th of 2022, y'all. 2022. Thank y'all for joining me for part 2 of Surviving Bonjean. We are going to talk about Jerhonda tonight. And the title of this live is Deception. Deception. Let me see who we got over here. Rock with me tonight. We got Noonie. What up, Noonie? How you doing? Black Diamond, how you doing, Queen? T-Bound 1, what's good? Rosalind Baxter, hello. I'm a Queen Newton. How you doing today? Chocolate 82467 in the house, what's good? Aisha Stockton, hello. Tammy Beckham, hello. Tiffany McIntosh, what's up? Jacqueline Jones, hey. What's up, Tanya? What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing? Rocking with the truth is in the building. Miss Jennifer, hey. Ty, what up, Ty? How you doing? Purple, hey, Purple, how are you? Just a T, please. West Coast Bells is in the house. Make sure y'all subscribe to West Coast Bells channel, man. Those queens, they twins, they be doing their thing. Let me see who else I got in here. Who else? Indigo. What's up, Indigo? How are you? Miss Mo. Man, I got to shout out Miss Mo. Man, she did her thing over on Miss Angie channel earlier today. We love you and appreciate you being over here helping us to read when we was going through the transcripts and also offering your smart and intelligent way of thinking on this channel. Thank you so much. Let me see who else we got over here. Vanetta. What up, Vanetta M? Toon the Goon. What's up, my brother? How you doing? Dynamite is in the building. What's up, Dynamite? All right. Sharon Spiller. Hello. How are you? Okay, I think I got everybody. Great. All right, y'all. So first thing I want to do is I want to make it very clear that, you know, I do what I do. right? Am I the best at delivering this stuff? You know, no, I'm not, right? There's people that do this much better than me. My brother Larry is the best. That's why he is the leader. That's why he's the man. He'll be home soon to get back on his throne and showing and breaking this case down in the best way that anybody does it on YouTube, period. I am a partner. That's my bro. So I just jump in, fill in when I can, do what I do, just to make sure that people are still getting the truth from this side of the fence, along with my sister Diva, along with the truth, along with Tears, along with shoot, y'all know it's a lot of us over here. Fat Boy, all of us over here, our little group of Blade, Ty, all of us. We do the best we can to hold things down to make sure that the people and the masses out there who want to hear the opposing side or want to hear the side of the people that stand on the side of these victims, that is what we are here for. Just to give y'all a different viewpoint, a viewpoint that's based on sworn testimony that was in court, that was from the transcripts, that was from the discovery. Okay, that is what we are doing on this channel, and a lot of people like to hear just the black and white. And so that's what we're going to continue to do. Mertice Balaam, what's good? How are you? How are you? How are you? Okay, y'all. So the one thing I want to do today is we're going to read a little bit about Jerhonda, because I understand that Jerhonda's starting to take some heat from some of these the ops, the other side, because they the opposition of us, so they the ops too. Starting to take the focus off of Azriel and put it on Jerhonda. I noticed that today. So what I want to do is I want to just kind of read what the transcripts say about Jerhonda, and then see how that matches up with what Miss Jennifer Bonjean is trying to say in her acquittal motion. Okay. So first thing I want to do though, y'all, just to kind of jump off of that, is I want to show y'all a video that was sent to me. Shout out to the creator of this video, but I want y'all to just kind of see R. Kelly's body language. I want y'all to see his body language around young girls. I just want you to see it for yourself. Maybe some of y'all might not think it's weird with what you're going to see, but a lot of people do. So y'all just watch this. Y'all can't hear this. Hold on.
I didn't have to hear her sing because she was growing. I knew she had it. As soon as she started singing, that verified it. And from there, we became here. And everything's...
You know, America has been waiting for y'all to come back to us. How's everything going?
Hey, y'all listen.
Good. Yeah. Okay, let's clear something up, because you know I've been getting a rundown on the street. Everybody seems to think that y'all are either girlfriend or boyfriend or cousins or let's just get the record straight.
You better go get me a white Jeep.
Well, no, we're not related at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. He's my best friend
Yeah, cool.
Now, who found her?
in the whole wide world.
I found Leah. As a matter of fact, Barry Hankerson, my manager, who's her uncle, told me to go up to Detroit and hear her sing. Once I got up to Detroit, I didn't have to hear her sing because she was growing. I knew she had it. As soon as she started singing, that verified it. And from there, we became here, and everything is all good.
Is Aaliyah your real name?
Aliyah is my real name.
It's very unique. It's nice, though.
It's Muslim Arabic.
Oh, all right.
Does it,
do you know the meaning, or does it have a meaning?
It means the highest, most exalted one, the best.
All right. Here we go. Everybody knows. You say it one more time so we make sure we get this.
The highest, most exalted one, right?
The best, yes.
The best.
Right.
Get it, y'all. Now, what does everybody call you? I know your name is Robert, but do they say, yo, Art, yo, Kelly, yo, Robert, yo?
Kelly, some call me Ark. You know, making a mistake. Right, Art. Yeah, but most people who know me call me Rob.
Okay. Yeah. I know you're a straight A student. How do you mix with, studies and / artists?
Well, it was very hard to intertwine school with the career, but I do feel that education is number one. Cool. So I work hard at that, and I go to performing arts school, so they're very helpful. They've been very cooperative with me. DSA, everybody knows that's right. And my parents work with me, so they help me keep my grades up.
What do your parents think about your career?
They're very happy for me that, I finally got where I wanted to get. I've been working very hard, and they've been a great support. Ever since I was a little thing, I used to run around and sing, and they've helped me. They've developed me.
Now, how do people around you act? I mean, you know how people say you've changed, and it's usually not you've changed, but the people around you. Do you feel that kind of vibe going on?
Well, my friends at school, they've been supportive. They don't think I've changed anything. They're the same. I'm the same. We're all the same.
Now, how is he to work with?
Bob is great to work with because really it's not like we work because we're like really close. So it's like just fun, really. We just hang out, sing.
I don't ever remember working.
Yeah, it's just like fun.
It seems like you had a lot of fun recording your album, but is there any song on the album that is your baby that you like more than others?
At Your Best.
At Your Best.
At Your Best, You Are Loved.
And that's what we're going to peek at today, right?
That's right.
Why that song?
Because I love the Isley Brothers, and I really admire them. They're very unique. Their sound is very unique. You can tell the Isley Brothers song right off. And when he brought it to me, I just fell in love with it from the first time, so that's why I love it.
Where did the title of the album come from?
She's running around the studio one day with her friends, talking a lot of smack. Talking about age ain't nothing but a number, girl. I'm like, what you trying to say? So immediately I heard the song, and I said, I called her back 15 minutes later, told her, check this out. So we cut the track right then and there.
And for the record, you are how old?
That's a secret.
Women doesn't disclose her age.
Mentor for you, I guess.
Yeah, my best friend, really. We've been knowing each other for around 3 years. And I met him before he came out with Born into the 90s through my manager, which is also his manager.
Right.
That's how we met. And I sang for him when I first met him. And a couple months later, we went to the studio and started working.
What was so special about her that you actually hooked up with her to actually, get that whole thing happening?
Well, I don't want to come off like she's big-headed, but all you have to do is take a look at her, and she's glowing. And that's what you have to have for someone like me to really want to break down and work with you or produce you or to be able to produce. Because if you're not glowing in some kind of way, I can't even touch you. And that's what Leah is doing. That's what she was doing when I first met her. She was glowing. She had that thing, that vibe.
I kind of just laid back and let him, kind of take control because he had the experience.
Right.
And of course the talent's there, but I learned a lot from him. So hopefully around the second album, I'll be able to pull out a little input in. I mean, my parents always told me, and I sung a lot with my mom, but, when I heard other people's views, and everyone else was telling me that I could sing, is when I really realized I had a great voice. My parents always told me, but parents, they love their kids. They
They don't tell you anything.
You have a great support system, and your dad travels with you and your brother.
My family's with me most of the time. My manager is my uncle, so, he's been in the business for a while, so having him, helped a lot in getting a lot of things done because he had, a lot of connections. Well, you have to grow up quickly in this business because you have to, know when not to go somewhere, know when to go back to the hotel or whatever. But, my mom travels with me a lot, and my dad and my brother, so having them around helped me a lot. And they were on my age, I wanted them to really accept me as an artist and just enjoy the music. And everybody's asking me, how old are you? And they know I'm young, I'm in my teens, but I made it a fact that I wasn't going to tell and keep it a secret. And now, you know, I just had a birthday. I just turned 16. So I'm telling people now.
Got the scoop.
I'm 16, so I was really geeked about my sweet 16. So I'm telling people now, but they've accepted me, and my album's been very successful. So that's why I don't mind saying it now. That song can relate to a lot of people. Like if you fall in love with someone older, or if an older person falls in love with someone younger, it's really everyone can relate to it, not just one group of people. And of course, because we knew when I came out, that age would be, you know,
The big thing.
an issue.
This past year, you wrapped filming for Queen of the Damned, the Anne Rice novel.
Yeah.
And you finished your third album, and you also signed on to star in the next two Matrix sequels. How many hours do you have in a day?
It's a lot of work. It really is. You know, now that I have, you know, dual careers, it's double the workload. But I'm really enjoying it. You know, this is what I've wanted since I was a little girl. And you know, living adamant on being original and being unique. And I stay up on what's going on in music, you know, what's hot and all of that. But I don't like to, I won't let things influence me to stray from what I want to do, you know. And the team that I work with is very creative and very innovative. And we're always challenging ourselves to do something new, you know. I'm like, with this album, we have to dig deep and maybe sing about things, talk about things we haven't talked about before. Maybe, you know, we'll use an instrument on this track. I self-titled this album because I feel it really reflects me. It's, like I said before, it's a mature album. It's, even with my vocals, you feel the growth, you know what I mean? My signature style still remains, but with some songs, I use a little bit more power, a little bit more depth because
Man, listen. First of all, God bless Aaliyah, that young, powerful, beautiful queen. You know, it's the reason why I played that. Obviously, it's for entertainment purposes, educational purposes. Is I don't the body language of him around her in that interview was way too, let me say, comfortable. You know, at one point his legs were right next to each other. Then they just spread out to where his leg was underneath her leg. That was weird to me. I don't know if that was maybe his way of nudging her to make sure she didn't say something that he didn't want her to say. Obviously, when she was talking about her age, she said that's a secret. You know, when she said, you know, that he was her best friend. I don't know too many young ladies, and I'm not sure exactly what age she was in that video, but I know that he was definitely over 10 or 12 years older than her. That's for sure. I don't know too many people who say that a grown man who's that young is their best friend, unless it's their father, right? Like, maybe if it's your father or my dad, it's my best friend. He's always there for me. He's always the one I call on. That makes sense to me, but just a man who is supposed to be working with you on your music, supposed to be producing you, how can that be your best friend? Your mom should be your best friend. Your friends should be your best friends. Yeah. Huh? Let her come up. Come here, baby. Come here. I'm sorry, y'all. I just don't. that was sent to me earlier today, and I watched it. Hi, baby. You can't get on camera, okay? Because your hair not done. But I'm sorry. You want to say hi? Hi. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Huh? Okay. Say, have a great day. Say bye.
Bye.
Okay, give daddy a kiss. Love you. Bye-bye. Huh? I know. Daddy on live right now, okay? I'm going to come get you. We're going to watch Blimpy in a minute, okay? I'm going to come get you. I'm going to come back. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Noodle wanted to come see me. But no, I just think it's, body language says a lot. Body language says a lot, right? Usually, gosh, that was just a weird dynamic, right? Usually a man, and somebody put in the chat, and it made sense that he was acting and talking like he was 16, right? Why couldn't he just give her sit up like a man does and let her do the one that was slouching and being like a little kid, right? I don't know. It just was very weird. He didn't look like he was her producer. He looked like they was really just, yeah, yep, yeah. I need to get me a Jeep. Yeah, they call me R. Rob. And I'm like, it was just weird to me. It was just very, very, very weird. Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Tate. The body language says he was attracted to a 14-year-old at 26, 27. Right, no 25-year-old man should touch a 15-year-old leg. I agree. If y'all just looked at what I was seeing, it was just really Miss Fruga said Noodle wants her own show. She gonna have a show. She gonna have the Noodle show. But no, y'all. What's up? So here's what I want to get into, y'all. For today, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jerhonda. Okay. First, let's go to the motion here that was filed by Bonjean, and then I want to kind of just spin around and just read. So this right here is Racketeering Act 5 of the Mann Act violation for Jerhonda. Okay, this is what Bonjean is stating. This is what she is, the points that she is trying to bring up. Let me take this comment off of here so y'all can read the whole thing. Okay, here we go. So it says here. Let me get back to this. Let's go back over here. Okay. So it says here that the government failed to prove Racketeering Act 5, where there was insufficient evidence that the defendant, number one, used a facility of interstate commerce to knowingly persuade, induce, entice, or coerce Jerhonda to engage in sexual activity that violated Illinois' law, and that two, defendant knowingly committed the prohibited sexual activity. It says here to obtain a conviction under 2422B, the government must show that the defendant, number one, used a facility of interstate commerce, and number two, knowingly persuaded, induced, or enticed. Number three, any individual who is younger than 18 years old. And number four, to engage in sexual activity of a criminal nature. So I want us to look and see what exactly is 2422B. Let's go ahead and visit that right now. So as you can see here, let me bring this up a little bit so y'all can, let me see. All right, so you can see here that U.S. Code 18 U.S. Code 2422, coercion and enticement. It says here that whoever knowingly persuades, let me see. Okay, whoever knowingly persuades, induces, entices, or coerces any individual to travel in interstate or foreign commerce or in any territory or possession of the United States to engage in prostitution or in any sexual activity for which any person can be charged with criminal offense or attempts to do so shall be fined under the title of imprisoned and imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. Okay? And then B, it says whoever using the mail or any facility or means of interstate or foreign commerce or within the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States knowingly persuades, induces, entices, or coerces any individual who has not attained the age of 18 years old to engage in prostitution or any sexual activity for which any person can be charged in a criminal offense or attempts to do so shall be fined under the title of imprisonment of not less than 10 years or for life. Okay, so that is the proper legal definition of U.S. Code 2422, which is coercion or enticement. Now what I want to do is I want to flip over and I want us to read the summation on Jerhonda. Okay? And I want y'all to see if throughout here, if there was any enticement, persuasion, coercion done by R. Kelly towards Jerhonda. Okay? I want to see if there was any deception that was brought in by Bonjean in this motion. Okay? We are going to read Jerhonda's area of the summation. This is the government speaking. Okay? Everything that I'm about to read is factual testimony that was used to convict him, in which on every count with Jerhonda, he was convicted. Every single one. With Jerhonda. Okay? Here we go. It says Jerhonda Jackson Pace told you that she first saw the defendant when she was 14 years old. Okay? So she said she was just 14 years old. All this is said under oath. Now, I'm like 1,000,000% sure that Jerhonda, now being a grown woman, being married, understood very clearly what the consequences would be if she got on this stand and just straight bold-faced lied. Okay? Okay? Jerhonda knows right now, understands very clearly what the consequences of getting on that stand and perjuring herself would do for her, her family, her beautiful newborn baby. She's not slow. Let's read. It says here, and this is Miss Gaddis. She remembered that it was on April Fool's Day, just a couple of weeks before her 15th birthday. And she and her friend, Kiana, attended. Hold on, y'all. Her and her friend Kiana attended a court proceeding on a regular basis for almost 2 months, and they attended that court proceeding supporting the defendant. And there was a defense exhibit, and there was a defense exhibit E, I believe, where the media took notice of Jerhonda attending this court proceeding, and she was actually in the newspaper. So the media noticed, but so too did the defendant. So that was in 2008. Okay? That was in 2008. What's up, Shirley? How are you? Fast forward a year. The defendant's close friend, Jermaine Maxey, he's also known as Bubba, reached out to Jerhonda on MySpace. That's just an application that was then popular for sharing music, supporting musical stars, and Bubba invited Jerhonda to a party at the defendant's house in Olympia Fields. And Jerhonda, who was a big fan of the defendant back then, jumped at the opportunity. And in Government's Exhibit 148, you see phone records showing telephone contact between Jerhonda and, it says here, and Bubba, whose real name is Jermaine Maxey. So it shows phone contact on May 30th, 2009, just as she told you that they had. So remember in 2008, she's attending the court proceedings for a couple of months. Fast forward a year to May of or June of 2009 is where she first goes to a party at the defendant's residence. And again, you see the phone contacts between her and Bubba supporting, what she told you. Now at the party at the defendant's house, this is the one that Bubba invited her to. Jerhonda met the defendant again, and she is told that, told you that she exchanged numbers with him. And the defendant recognized Jerhonda from court from the year prior. And it was during the first party that the defendant also asked Jerhonda's age. And she claimed to him at that time that she was 19 years old. But she was really just 16 years old and actually had just turned 16 in April of that year. And Jerhonda told you that after the party, the defendant and Jerhonda began to speak by phone, and that the defendant invited her to come back to his house. Now, at this time, one of his employees, his inner circle, picked her up and told you that someone picked her up in a red and black Chrysler 300. And Tom Arnold told you that the defendant had that red and black Chrysler 300. And you also see, as part of the government's exhibit 912B, that in fact the defendant had it, that Chrysler 300. This one was purchased in 2007, so making sense that he had it in 2009, and that was used to pick her up, or pick up Jerhonda. She told you. Now, Jerhonda only remembered the first time, the first name of that employee who picked her up. She remembered it was Anthony, and she identified a photo of Government's Exhibit 34 as a photo of Anthony. And you know who it was. That was Anthony Navarro. Government's Exhibit 34 is in evidence, and he testified in this trial. In the very beginning of the trial, and Navarro testified that he also recognized Jerhonda as someone that he has seen at the studio, and that's in the transcripts at 508 and 509. Jerhonda told you about her first time with the defendant. So after they spoke at the party, she told him that she was 19 when she's actually 16. They exchanged phone numbers, and then they spoke on the telephone. And the defendant invited Jerhonda over to his home. And so he had told her to bring a bathing suit. And when she got to the residence, she goes into the pool area of the defendant's house, and there he instructed her to play a game that he created there. That he created where she would walk toward him and then away from him. And each time he wanted her to take off one item of clothing. And she told you that she was wearing a two-piece bathing suit. And once she had removed all of her clothing, he grabbed her and started to give her oral sex. She told you. Now, she told you that she, at that first party, she didn't tell the truth about her age. Okay? But she also told you that she came clean when the defendant started to give her oral sex. During the first time that she goes, well, it's the second time that she's at Olympia Fields. The first time she's at the party, and she told you how she told the defendant about her true age. She said she showed him her ID, her state ID card, and she told you that she had gotten that state ID card as a gift from her stepdad for her 16th birthday. And you saw a record, which is in evidence as Government's Exhibit 820. Now, showing that Jerhonda had, in fact, received a state ID card in April 22nd of 2009, just a few days after her 16th birthday, and a couple of weeks before she meets the defendant. And you know that it's a state ID because you, Special Agent Shabbat, testified that when the driver's license ends with a letter, here, J, that indicates a state ID. When it begins with a letter, that indicates a driver's license. Now, when Jerhonda came clean and told the defendant that she was just 16 years old, his reaction was not a problem. She told you, and this is in the transcript at 124. I asked her, how, if at all, did the defendant respond when you told him your true age of being just 16 years old? And she answered, he asked me, what is that supposed to mean? And he told me to continue to tell everyone that I was 19 and to act 21. Okay? So that is the direct quote, the direct testimony that Jerhonda Pace said under oath in court. Under oath in court as a grown adult woman. Let us all be very clear about that. She's not on trial here as a 16, a 17, a 18, a 19-year-old girl. Okay? This isn't where you could say, oh, well, she was just so young and she didn't understand what was going on and she was nervous. No. No. She's being truthful now. She's saying, yes, I lied to him back then when I was young and impressionable and not thinking straight and not understanding the consequences of my actions. She said, and when she told him, she gave him oral sex. And he penetrated her vaginally. She told you that they then started to have sex nearly every time she saw him thereafter. Now, the defendant's reaction to learning Jerhonda's true age is hardly a surprise. Faith, and we'll talk more about her testimony later. Faith told you that when she was truthfully told the defendant that she was 19 years old. So people want to say, well, all the girls lied about their age. No, they didn't. Faith told the truth. Says that he told her, his response to her was, now, you can tell me if you just 16 years old. Question. So people want to say that these girls, all the girls lied about their age, everything R. Kelly did. He was under the impression that he was with women that were of legal age. So why would Faith lie on a stand? She not asking them for no money. She could have cared less. She had her own money. Her parents were very well off. She didn't need money from R. Kelly. And she said that she genuinely was with him because she wanted to be with him. So why would she get on there? What would be her motive? It doesn't benefit her on what happens to Jerhonda. It doesn't benefit her on what happens to Azriel. This is her own separate charge, her own separate area of this case. So what benefit would it be for her to have said, I told him that I was 19, being truthful? And his response was, well, you can tell me if you were just 16 years old. It says here, in just a few years before the defendant invited Jerhonda over, in March of 2006, the defendant also had no problem with Alexis. The woman from Jacksonville told you that when Alexis told you that the defendant told the defendant her true age of 15 years old. And remember, Alexis testified at this trial, and she told you that she met the defendant after she attended that concert in Jacksonville with her family. And like many witnesses, Alexis did not want to testify before you. And you heard her responses to my questions. She did her best to protect the defendant. But even she had to admit that when she met him at 15, they started to communicate by phone. And there are phone records to support just that. And that then the defendant then started to fly her to his house in Chicago, including a time where she told you that she lost her luggage. And from phone records, you can see that happened when she was just 16 years old. Now, Jerhonda told you, going back to Jerhonda told you about other aspects of this 6 months that she spent with the defendant. Now, she was the first witness to testify in what I suspect seemed like a long trial. But since then, you have heard witness after witness tell you the same thing. Like others, Jerhonda told you that the defendant had her write letters containing false information and at his direction. She then gave him those letters so that he could use them if he ever chose to do so. Like others, Jerhonda told you that the defendant was in full control of their sexual encounters, and how he told her that he was going to train her on how to please him sexually. Like others, Jerhonda told you that the defendant directed her to wear baggy clothes and told her that she couldn't leave the room where she was in without getting his permission. And like others, the defendant summoned Jerhonda to the tour bus so that she could meet Juice. Now, one of the defendant's girlfriends, who there's a lot of testimony about, so she could meet Juice and have both Jerhonda and Juice give him oral sex. Like others, Jerhonda told you that he didn't use a condom when they had sex, and that she eventually contracted herpes during that 6-month period. And she was with the defendant. And like others, Jerhonda told you about the defendant's violent temper and how he physically assaulted her when she went against his wishes, including something as mundane as supporting the Cavaliers instead of Chicago Bulls. With that backdrop, I want to talk about racketeering acts related to Jerhonda. There are 3 of them: Racketeering Acts 5, 6, and 7. Now, I'm going to first talk about Racketeering Act 5. So, y'all, let's see if the government proved Racketeering Act 5. Okay? Which is, as y'all can see when we flip back, which is the charge. Racketeering Act 5, Mann Act violation against Jerhonda. We're going to see, based on the transcripts, if the government was able to prove that. It says here, Racketeering Act 5, that's the defendant's coercion of Jerhonda's pace. It's another one of those Mann Act violations. So the coercion of Jerhonda Pace, a minor, to engage in illegal sexual activity using a facility of interstate commerce. Here, the sexual activity was illegal because Jerhonda, at 16 years old, was too young to consent to sexual activity in the state of Illinois, which is where she interacted with the defendant. So for this racketeering act, the government has to prove the following 4 elements: that the defendant used a facility of interstate commerce, that the defendant knowingly persuaded or induced or enticed or coerced Jerhonda to engage in sexual activity, that the sexual activity would violate Illinois law, and that Jerhonda was less than 18 years old. Now, I want to talk about the 3rd and 4th elements first. There's no dispute that between May of 2009, when the defendant met Jerhonda, in January 2010, when Jerhonda stopped spending time with the defendant, that Jerhonda was just 16 years old. She's under 18. Because Mechanic says, I have an objection to that. The court said overruled. Ms. Geddes continues. Because Jerhonda was 16 years old, sexual penetration between Jerhonda and the defendant would be illegal, provided that the defendant was 5 years older than Jerhonda. And you can see from the birth certificates. So for the people that say that there's no proof that she was underage other than the fake ID, this here shows you that there was her birth certificates, as well as Jerhonda's testimony under oath. Now, that there's no reasonable dispute of any of that. During that time period that the defendant was with Jerhonda, the defendant was 42 years old. Jerhonda was 16 years old. Let me say that one more time for all of those R. Kelly fanatics who don't want to look at the reality of this situation. The reality of this situation is she was 16 years old. She was 16. She told him she was 16. He said, I don't give a damn. Say you're 19 and act like you're 21. And he continued to do what he wanted to do with her young body. It says, now the government also has to show that the defendant did not reasonably but wrongly believe that Jerhonda was 17 or older. Meaning, if the defendant really believed that Jerhonda was 17, if he really believed that Jerhonda was 17, and that was reasonable, then he wouldn't be guilty of this predicate act. But Jerhonda told you that she wasn't intentionally truthful with the defendant about her age. She said she was 19 when she was actually 16. She told the truth about her lying. She's not hiding the fact that she lied to him at first. It's not like she got on a stand and didn't tell the truth, and then the defense caught her in a lie. Okay, that no one is going to, with all of the national exposure, with all of the scrutiny, all of the harassment, all of the doxing that has been done against their family, going to get on a stand and blatantly lie when they have a child inside of their stomach. Are they going to get up there and risk going to prison over lying about their age on the stand and then being found out that they lied? No. I need for those women out there who believe that this girl ain't nothing but a little fast-ass girl, little skank, little, as you heard the one crazy-ass blogger lady say, a hoe. I need y'all to look at this and think about when you were 16. How rational you were. How many guys you may have told you were a little older so that he would talk to you because he had a car and you was tired of dealing with the young boys who was barely getting an allowance and couldn't afford to take you to the movies. Okay? The girl told a lie. But when she got on that stand, and put her right arm up and said, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, I believe she told the truth about her lying. Okay? Now it says here, she said that she was 19 when she was actually 16. We all admit that. Okay? We all admit that. But after he starts to give her oral sex, she told you that she had to tell him the truth. And she decided to tell him the truth. She probably told the man the truth because she was scared as hell. The girl didn't go there expecting to have sex with R. Kelly. She probably went there just to be around him. It was a party. She didn't expect for him to, maybe thought he was telling her to bring a bathing suit so they could go swimming. Kid, what 16-year-old or 18-year-old don't like to go swimming as a little girl? You going to a house party with a pool. Bring your swimming suit. We're going to be swimming. Okay, great. Where does it come into the conversation? After you get there, by the way, take off a piece of your clothes every time you walk back and forth. Okay? It says here, she said that she decided to tell him the truth. And I already talked about her showing the defendant a copy of her state ID. I mean, her actual state ID. You saw the record related to it. And so I submitted that. Based on her testimony, under oath, you know that the defendant knew Jerhonda's true age. And so certainly didn't have a reasonable belief that her defense that he thought Jerhonda was older. Now you also know that the defendant knowingly persuaded Jerhonda to engage in sexual activity. She told you that. But I want to talk about some of the other evidence that backs up what Jerhonda told you. And there is a lot. Truth said that earlier, last night, and said Atmos, the government said that it was overwhelming. Said you couldn't see a single text message between the defendant and Jerhonda. And in cross-examination, the defense counsel accused Jerhonda of being, quote, a stalker. They were wrong. And you know it. You know it, for one, because you saw Government's Exhibit 210. This is a text message that was recovered from Jerhonda's phone from the defendant. Telephone number ending in 9300. The message was from R. Kelly. Please call. And that text message was found on Jerhonda's cell phone, which she provided to the government, and you saw it in evidence as Government's Exhibit 241. There can be no serious dispute that Jerhonda spent a lot of time at the defendant's house in Olympia Fields. And I would like you, and again, it's a long time ago, I know, but I want you to recall the precision and the accuracy with which Jerhonda describes the Olympia Fields. At one point, during my questions of Jerhonda, I asked her to describe the studio. And I submit, if you can go back that far, which seems like a long time ago, you could see her literally visualizing the studio as she describes the studio. And it's in evidence. I'm sorry, it's in the transcripts as 170. And I won't read through it, but she described exactly the layout of that basement area in the Olympia Fields, and she described it because she had been there, and she's been there on several occasions in that time period when she spent time with the defendant. And you know that what she said was accurate because Tom Arnold, the defendant's longtime studio manager, told you the same thing. He described the same layout that Jerhonda told you. But you also know that what Jerhonda was true because it was backed up by so much other evidence. I'm going to talk about that. But to just quickly take you through. There was DNA evidence, the phone records, screenshots from her phone. That's the one that's in evidence as Government's Exhibit 241. And then all of the information she told you that was exactly right. She knew about the defendant's 2009 trip to South Africa. She told you that she introduced the defendant to Dominique. She told you that the police came to the defendant's house and searched Dominique in June of 2009, and she showed you those photos that she took in the mirror room. That's the room on the first floor. They're in evidence as Government's Exhibit 908A through E. So I want to talk briefly about each of those things that support what Jerhonda told you. You know what Jerhonda told you about her time is true because you saw the DNA evidence directly confirming that she had a sexual encounter with the defendant when she was just 16 years old. Jerhonda told you that she used her t-shirt. This one's shown. The actual t-shirt is in evidence, but here's a photograph of it in Government's Exhibit 241A. And she told you that she used the t-shirt to wipe semen off her face when she last saw the defendant in January of 2010. And she told you that she provided that t-shirt to her attorney at the Loggins Law Firm, Susan Loggins Law Firm. And from a stipulation that's in evidence as Government's Exhibit 1015, you know that Jerhonda's next attorney, David Fitch, retrieved the t-shirt from the Loggins Law Firm in 2013. He kept it for a period of years until he returned it to Jerhonda in 2017. And that next day, according to stipulation, undisputed, Jerhonda turns that t-shirt over to a detective with the Olympia Fields Police Department, who then keeps it for a period of years until finally in 2019 is transferred to an investigator and then to the Illinois State Police. And you will recall Veronica Jackson. She was the forensic scientist who testified by video. She told you that she reviewed the Government's Exhibit 241 for the purpose of biological fluids. And she told you that when she did that, she obtained several samples or a couple of samples of what appeared to be semen. And she then put it under the microscope and saw that there was, in fact, sperm there. And she said there was a lot of it. And then after that, she then provided it to another individual for it to be DNA tested. And you heard from that witness too. Yonggi Wu, another forensic scientist at the Illinois State Police, who told you that the DNA profile that he generated on that t-shirt matched the DNA profile of the defendant. Now, and then he went further and he calculated the statistical likelihood that he would randomly find that DNA profile in the population. And he provided some really, really big numbers. And one of them is on the screen. But he said that the statistical probability of randomly finding that profile, of randomly finding R. Kelly's DNA on that shirt was 11 decillion. And he told you that 11 decillion is 11 followed by 33 zeros. And he then went on to say that there are only 7.2 billion people on this earth. And so that it would take more than 1,000,000 billion Earths to get to 11 decillion. The defendant's DNA was on government exhibit 241. And it was on there because the defendant had a sexual encounter with Jerhonda when she was 16 years old. And she happened to have used that t-shirt to wipe off his semen. Jerhonda's account is also fully supported by the phone records. I already talked about the initial contact between Jerhonda and Bubble, the defendant's longtime friend, but the phone records also show regular contact between Jerhonda and the defendant between June of 2009, when she says she met him probably May 30th of 2009, based on those other phone records, and January 2010. We'll talk about those phone records in a moment. Jerhonda told you that at the defendant's request, he gave the defendant a phone number for one of her friends, Dominique. And she told you that she had met Dominique on a fan page for the defendant. It was a MySpace fan page for the defendant. And she told you that she gave the defendant Dominique's phone number. And in evidence is an email. And I showed you this email earlier today. From June 4th, 2009, just a couple of days after the defendant and Jerhonda met. So supporting what she told you. And it shows one of the defendant's runners arranging for someone to pick up someone at a particular location. And there's a phone number for that individual. There's not a name, but you know who that phone number was for, because there is a subscriber record in evidence which shows government exhibit 106, which shows that the subscriber for that phone number back then at the time of the email was a particular individual. And then you can see that that individual is listed as the mother of Dominique in government exhibit 817. And Dominique is now shown on the screen as government exhibit 69. Jerhonda also told you about something else that she overheard. Also something else that she knew from her time at Olympia Fields. She told you that when she was there, she was in the defendant's safari room. She overheard the defendant say that there was a police officer at the gate. And that was the gate of the Olympia Fields residence. And that police officer, she heard, was looking for 17-year-old Dominique. And you know from Dominique's birth certificate that in June of 2009, she was 17. Hold on, y'all. Hello? Oh, come on now. Okay. Okay, so it's Jerhonda. Okay. All right, okay. Jerhonda. He responded on that evening of June 13th of 2009. He went to the defendant's residence in Olympia Fields looking for 17-year-old Dominique, and there he encountered security shown on the board. And the security referred other officer Amschel to the defendant's business manager. And Officer Amschel provided a phone number for that business manager. And that phone number is listed in Government Exhibit 152, which is a subscriber record, and it belonged to Daryl McDavid, the defendant's business manager and accountant. So Jerhonda knew all that. Again, because she was there. Now, y'all, please excuse my pronunciation. I just got a call that people are upset or being. So somebody's saying Honda Accord, bro. LOS. I said Jerhonda, and I got a call that said people upset because I'm saying Jerhonda. I should be saying Jerhonda. I'm confused. What the heck? I mean, good grief, y'all. Come on. Somebody done called Atmos. Yeah. It's Jerhonda, right? Jerhonda. Somebody said Honda Accord, bro. Come on now. She must have really loved him because. Okay, not upset. Okay, don't nobody get upset with me. If I mispronounce it, please forgive me. I ain't trying to trigger nobody. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm going to say Jerhonda. Okay, here we go. Don't beat me up, okay? All right, you also recall that Jerhonda told you in June of 2009, so shortly after she met him, the defendant traveled to South Africa for a few weeks. And just like she told you, Government Exhibit 635 are records from Customs and Border Protection showing the defendant leaving the country. Yo. Huh? It's Jerhonda. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. I corrected it. Oh, like, huh? Oh, okay. I corrected it, bro. All right. Thanks, man. All right, peace. All right. Tune got me together, y'all. Tune got me together. Okay, it's Jerhonda, not Jerhonda. It's not a Honda. It's not a Honda Accord, Atmos. Okay, it's Jerhonda. I'm straight now. I've been corrected. Thank you. All right, here we go. And like she told you, Exhibit 635 are records from Customs and Border Protection showing the defendant leaving the country on June 15th of 2009 and not returning until July 6th of 2009. And now those records show that he traveled to London. But Tom Arnold, who was the defendant's studio manager, told you that year in June or July of 2009 that he traveled with the defendant to South Africa, just like Jerhonda told you. Now, you also saw the settlement agreement. That's in evidence as Government Exhibit 928, where the defendant agreed to pay Jerhonda $1.5 million in exchange for her silence and tried and true tactic used by the defendant. Candidate says objection. The court said overruled. Ms. Geddes said the defendant did not want Jerhonda to go to the police, and the payment worked for a long time. She remained silent for years, and that is powerful evidence of the defendant's guilt. But finally, in 2017, Jerhonda had enough, and she spoke publicly for the first time about having underage sex with the defendant. And when she did, you saw the steps that the defendant and others working with the defendant took to create a cover story. And these are additional documents that were found at the defendant's storage facility. And these documents, which I will go over in a moment, were found in that locked safe of the storage facility, along with some of those letters in plastic document protectors that we've talked about already. Now, y'all know he really was trying to protect them things if they was in plastic document protectors, right? He didn't want those things being damaged at all, I could see. And we'll talk about that more. So within the storage, y'all silly. Yep, I got it together, y'all. Okay. Let me see. So within the storage facility, there were altered copies of a birth certificate, a state ID card, and there was also some type of employment ID. And if you take a look at it, these are paper copies that are in a safe, not the originals. And if you take a look at it, you will see that each of those copies are altered to reflect an incorrect birthday, trying to support that Jerhonda was actually 19 when the defendant met her and not her true age of 16. And you can see that there is a birth certificate which lists Jerhonda's date of birth as April 19th of 1990, when in fact her true birth certificate is in evidence and shows that she was born that same day, but 3 years later in 1993. You also see a state ID. It was the same picture that you saw in that other record. That's her actual state ID record. But it lists her birthday as April 19th of 1990. Again, 3 years earlier. And you can tell that it was a very obviously doctored document, because if you look at the ID number, and that's a portion of the state ID we talked about earlier with respect to Aaliyah about those ID numbers, you can see those middle 4 digits say 3390. And we've enlarged it a bit. You can see, and you'll have it in evidence that it's obviously altered from a different number. And I submit to you, you can see underneath that it is used, that it used to be 3393. Now it says 3390. Wow. And Special Agent Shabbat, in his testimony, explained to you what that meant. In Illinois, that those 2 digits, those final 2 digits, the 90, correlates to someone's birth year. So that reflects 1990 rather than 1993. So it should have been 1993. But the defendant and his associates, had that altered to make it seem like Jerhonda was older when in fact she was just 16. So once you find that Jerhonda told the defendant that she was 16 years old and that they had sexual contact while she was 16 years old, there's only one additional element that you need to find for this racketeering act, and that's that the defendant used a facility of interstate commerce. That just means he used a cell phone, and the evidence of that is overwhelming. You know that the defendant used facilities of interstate commerce because you saw the phone records or in evidence are the phone records showing that the defendant called Jerhonda and answered calls from Jerhonda. There is Government Exhibit 149. And this is just a page of Government Exhibit 149. But what this exhibit shows is contact between the defendant's numbers, and you have the number ending in 9300 as well as the number ending in 6569. Both of those numbers were saved in Jerhonda's phone, and there are also subscriber records in evidence showing that they belong to the defendant. 9300 was his personal cell phone. 6569 was saved in Government Exhibit 210. That's on the cell phone as the number for the studio, the defendant's studio. So in this Government Exhibit 149, you see page after page of phone contact between the defendant's phone numbers and these other numbers that are listed. Now, Jerhonda did not remember her telephone number from back in 2009, but she told you how she initially used that Pink Palm Central before the defendant took it from her. And that she used a Virgin mobile telephone. And then you saw Government Exhibit 210. This is the Virgin Mobile telephone that Jerhonda identified as her phone and provided to the government. On the Government Exhibit 210, it shows the telephone number. So she didn't remember it. But you can tell the Government Exhibit 210 that this phone number was the phone number listed on Government Exhibit 149 that ends in 2837. And I am just going to refer to the numbers by their last 4 digits. And so this Government Exhibit 210 is the one ending in 2837. And also in evidence are 2 other subscriber records, Government Exhibit 140 and 141, that show that the same ESN, electronic serial number, for the telephone ending in 2837, this one, the one shown in 210, are also in the phone numbers 1136 and 2407. The FBI Special Agent Stephen Flatley told you, and you may know from your own experience, that an ESN is just a number. And that's just a number that links to a particular device. And so you can have different telephone numbers attached to a device. And that's actually what Jerhonda had. She had different telephone numbers attached to the same device. And so you can tell that those were other phone numbers that she used. And if you look at the records, you see that the 2407 number was active for a period of time. And then right after that, the 1136 number was active for a period of time. And then it goes to the 2837 number. Now, on the Government Exhibit 149, there are 2 other phone numbers listed here. One ending in 2117, and there's a subscriber record showing that there was a phone number subscribed in Jerhonda's mother's name. So again, it makes sense that she will be using that. And then you also see one phone number ending in 5655, and there is not subscriber records for that. But what is? So this right here, what I'm showing on the screen, is just the subscriber record for that 2117, showing Jerhonda's mother's name listed there. The Government Exhibit 160 is the list of the most frequently called numbers by this 5655 number. And Jerhonda talked about 7 of the numbers listed here. Talked about 7 of the listed numbers listed here. You see a phone number ending in 1900. That's Kiana Jones' telephone number. And the one she went to the party with. You see a phone number ending in 2407. And that's the phone number for her grandmother. And she testified about that particular phone number. You also see a phone number for Dominique. That one ended in 7366. And that is subscribed to Dominique's mother's name. And also it's listed in that email where the defendant's people were arranging to pick up Dominique. And so you can also tell, going back to the Government Exhibit 149, that the defendant and Jerhonda were in regular communication during the time period. And so there can be no serious dispute. There can be no serious dispute that a facility of interstate commerce was used. And so I submit, based on all of that, you know that particular racketeering act has been proven because the defendant used a telephone to arrange for Jerhonda to come over, and you know that he did it for the purpose of sexual activity, and that they then engaged in sexual activity for the period of months. Somebody drop some damn bombs in the chat for your boy. Somebody drop some bombs in the chat. Drop some bombs in the chat for me, y'all. Let me hear that again. Let me hear that one more time. There you go. There you go. So the proof is in the phone. Now, y'all, I got 92 people here and I got 38 likes. Now, I know a lot of y'all not going to like this. Y'all don't like when I read the transcripts and I read the discovery and I read the facts. I understand y'all don't want to hit the like, but you at least gotta give it up for somebody reading the doggone facts. Like, what else can we do? What else can we do? What else can we do? So y'all, to make a long story short, Bonjean has a very tough road ahead of her. As we all know, she threw a lot of stuff at the wall, and she's trying to see what will stick. That's not one of them. That's not one of them. That's not one of them. Okay? But y'all, listen, man. I wanted to come here because like I said, I heard a fellow content creator earlier get on her live and just pitch one hell of a pitch talking about Jerhonda. And it really bothered me because I think Jerhonda gets a really bad rap, okay? Yes, she lied. She admitted she lied, okay? She told the truth. She's trying to move on with her life. Let the girl be, okay? It's not her fault that a predator locked in on her, and let me say, after he knew her correct age, after she told him the truth, that excited him. It excited him more. He was more interested in Jerhonda after she told him, well, I'm really only 16. That made him excited. You want to know why I say that makes him excited? Atmos, how can you say that made him excited? Because when Faith told him the truth, that she was 19, he told her, well, I mean, if you really only 16, just say it. Yeah. So y'all, listen, to make a long story short, this case is as airtight as it can be. It is airtight. Okay? Barring some type of Hail Mary miracle that comes out, I don't see at all how, and they may be able to get one or two things. I don't know. Every time I read this Bonjean thing, and I did have some reservations about some of the jurors. I did say, you know what? Well, how could they have a juror on there that seen it and that the one person said that she finds pedophiles to be repulsive and all this kind of stuff. I did think to myself, how could the defense, let somebody on there who's going to be judging their client who has a past like him? And then I thought somebody was like, people were saying with Atmos, there was like over 100 questions. So they found the best 12 people they could find, plus some alternates who were the most neutral out of all the ones that they found. Right? So somebody said something also that was very smart. They said, well, I think it was Black Girl Beauty. She said, well, didn't R. Kelly have a say-so in who his jurors are going to be? So what happened is he probably heard the same person that said that they found, sexual people that sleep with kids to be repulsive. And then they might have said something that he liked and said, you know what? Nah, I'll take my chances with them. I think they may be okay. Okay. So listen, y'all. I didn't want to keep y'all for a long time. I just wanted y'all to just kind of see exactly what I was seeing. Okay, I wanted y'all to see exactly what I was seeing. Okay, I want us to not only talk the talk, but I want us to be able to read it and understand exactly what was said under oath, what we should be looking at, what we should be basing our decisions on. Okay, like y'all say, the transcripts don't lie. Hey y'all, if as long as if someone's in here, if they not being disrespectful, now I didn't read all the messages. Hold on. Why is D Michelle why is Glow Taylor? What are they saying, y'all? Y'all know I'm not reading the chat. So what are these people saying that's getting them blocked and timed out? Y'all help me out, because I don't know. I can't read the chat and read the transcripts at the same time. As long as, like I said, as long as nobody's being disrespectful, let them rock. They could say, on this channel, they could say free R. Kelly. I don't know what they saying. I don't know why these folks are being blocked or timed out. But y'all, please don't. Yeah. Please don't abuse the wrench. Please don't. Please stop. Please stop blocking people that's offering their opinion. Yeah, don't. Yeah, please. Thank you, Toon, for unblocking. I don't see what Glow Taylor said that got her blocked. Or y'all, please don't abuse the wrench. If ain't nobody in here being straight disrespectful, let them rock. Let them rock, please. Okay. Okay, like this Taffel T. Yeah, your ass deserve to be blocked. Okay, we don't need that kind of talk over here. You need to go. All right, y'all. Other than that, listen, I love y'all. Thank y'all for being the best subs and subscribers and family on here. If y'all would please hit that like button on the way out of here. I'm gonna get off of here. This other side gonna be pissed as hell after us reading this and being able to debunk what Bonjean. This is another surviving Bonjean moment. Jerhonda is a queen. We love Jerhonda over here. We love her family, and we support her fully. And we are proud of what she was able to do to face her predator, face her demon right in front of her. And so at the end of the day, Jerhonda did her thing. Okay, I want y'all to have a blessed day. Get you some rest. I will see y'all later on. Okay? Peace out. Love y'all.